you knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton.
Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Not Smokey? They got Smokey in the motherfucking pictures too? No wonder this man gave his life to Christ. We ain't about to get Rush Hour 4 anymore. They about to rush his ass to prison. Let me stop because I don't know if he did anything, but fool. Katt Williams did.
After years of dodging rumors and shutting down online talk, Chris Tucker is back in the spotlight again. And this time, it's messy. Katt Williams didn't hold back at all, calling out what he claims were shady industry connections tied to places people on the internet have been whispering about for years. None of this has been proven, but once those accusations hit the air, the conversation exploded fast. That's why people online keep asking how someone who once ruled the box office could fade so hard. Chris went from being one of the biggest comedy stars in Hollywood to barely popping up anymore, and fans started side-eyeing the sudden switch to church talk and public faith. Some folks believe it was a reset, others think it was damage control, and that debate is getting louder by the day. Things really heated up when reports surfaced, saying certain documents were partially released, fueling even more speculation online. No confirmed wrongdoing was stated, but the timing alone sent social media into a frenzy, especially with Katt Williams continuing to pour gasoline on the discussion. Now, if you missed how all this started, stay locked in because this runs deeper than people remember. When Chris stepped away from Hollywood, he stayed quiet about why he vanished. He even passed on returning to Friday, shocking fans who wanted that classic energy back. Chris claimed he was done with sequels, but that story didn't fully add up. Not long after turning that down, he popped up in Rush Hour, then doubled back for part 2 and 3 like nothing ever changed.
I know Cube want to do another one because Cube, of course, it's like, he kind of created Fridays, and I was in the first one. Yeah. And Cube, after I did the first Fridays back then, I never thought about doing sequels. I always wanted to do a good job and keep moving to the next movie. So Cube asked me back in, I think it was 96 or 97. He's Chris, we want to do another Fridays, man. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to do another Fridays. I want to do like Eddie Murphy and them did. I want to do Money Talks. I did Money Talks, and then eventually did Rush Hour. I said, I don't want to do another. And he said, what? You sure? I was like, nah, I don't want to do another. So he couldn't believe it, but he kept moving, and he got Mike Epps, and they went and did another one, and it was great. He did 2 of them.
And that contradiction is exactly why people are questioning everything now. So let's be real. It clearly wasn't about sequels at all. Something else was going on behind the scenes, and whatever it was, Chris didn't want to talk about it. That silence is what made people start digging, trying to figure out why he backed away from Hollywood so hard and so fast. At first, the only explanation fans could land on was religion. Chris leaned into his faith publicly, and that became the main narrative floating around. He even added fuel to that idea himself when he said one reason he didn't want to return to Friday was because a lot of people on set smoked, and he wasn't comfortable being around that lifestyle anymore.
Chris Tucker not talked about being in next Friday, because I know it was Mike Epps, but
we wanted him. He turned it down. Yeah, we wanted to pay him $12 million to do that movie.
What?
And he turned it down. He said it was for religious reasons. He didn't want to cuss, and he didn't want to smoke weed on camera.
But here's where things get wild. New chatter online has people saying his exit might not have been just about faith after all. None of this has been proven. But word started spreading that his long disappearance could be tied to controversial names that later shook the industry. Chris Tucker's name has been mentioned in publicly discussed Epstein-related records, including claims that he was listed on a private flight back in 2002. Important detail, though, being named does not equal wrongdoing, and no charges or accusations were made against him. Still, once people connected those dots, the internet ran with it. Chris and his team pushed back fast, saying that trip was part of a humanitarian mission to Africa, not anything shady. But once speculation hits the timeline, explanations don't always slow the noise down. They just make people talk louder. Chris tried to frame those trips as AIDS awareness and charity work, mentioning high-profile names to back it up. But a lot of people simply weren't buying that story at all. And bringing up Bill Clinton didn't help his case because social media was already flooded with images and reports tying Clinton to Epstein-related locations. Folks online felt like that environment was way too close for comfort, and they questioned how anyone around it could claim total ignorance.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was it Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at.
Now here's where the skepticism really kicked in. Chris was around these circles during that time, yet he wants everyone to believe he had zero clue about what was allegedly happening behind closed doors. That explanation didn't sit right with a lot of people, and the comments showed it. When Chris was asked about it publicly, viewers noticed how tense he looked. He seemed nervous, stumbled through answers, and tried to brush it off like it was nothing, but the discomfort was loud. Online reactions came fast. One person said, "How do you explain this and expect people to just move on?" Another added, "Now it makes sense why he suddenly got super religious after Friday."
Tucker, you little freaky bitch. Please tell me this is AI. Please tell me this is AI, bruh. Please tell me this is Ellen Iverson. Say, Moby. This is what you need to talk about, the fentanyl face, ho. This is what you want to talk about. Bitch, talk about this.
That shift in his image had people questioning the timing more than ever. And here's the part people keep circling back to. Long before these discussions went mainstream, Katt Williams had already thrown shade, accusing Chris of being too close to Epstein. At the time, most folks brushed it off as jealousy or comedy beef. But now people are saying Katt might have just been early. Back in January 2024, during an interview on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, Katt spoke on the idea of a new Friday movie. He said the Chris Tucker people see today isn't the same one he knew back then. Katt even added that if he didn't know any better, he'd probably believe Chris was a good guy too.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
Whew. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest. I don't care what you say. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday? Smokey was all in Smokey. There ain't no Friday without Smokey.
We all agree to that, and there's no next Friday without Friday, and there's no Friday after next without Friday.
We talk about the road because you said that they don't.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. Chris was allowed to make the decision. At the time that this is happening, Katt Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed. Right. Snoop's known for smoking weed. But none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither.
And that line had people reading between every word. At first, people didn't really get what Katt was hinting at when he made those comments, but now, a lot of folks say the picture is starting to look clearer, and it's not doing Chris any favors at all. The fact that he felt the need to address this situation less than a day after those Epstein-related documents started circulating had people saying he was feeling the pressure fast. And here's the part that really has everyone talking. Those files aren't done rolling out yet. More names, more details, more pages keep dropping every few days. People online are saying if there's anything else connected to Chris in there, it might be smarter for him to speak up now instead of letting the internet fill in the blanks. Because if new information contradicts the humanitarian story he's sticking to, the public reaction could turn ugly real quick. Of course, the comment section stayed loud. One person wrote, "You can't act shocked when your face shows up more than once." Another added, "If you had the money and freedom, why even put yourself in that situation at all?" People were clearly questioning the choices, not making claims, but the skepticism was heavy. Someone else said that when people are truly innocent, they don't joke or laugh through serious questions. They come out firm and upset. That observation alone sparked another wave of debate. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all this speculation surrounding Chris and his past connections? Do you believe the explanation he gave, or do you think there's more to the story waiting to surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and click on the screen to check out another messy breakdown right here. We'll see you in the next one.